Hey everybody, Mandus Bulka here with Maximum Muscle Report. We're at the 2018 Tampa Pro. Historical event. This was the largest IFBB Pro show in the history of the sport. And even more important, sitting here next to a legend himself, an iconic member of, I guess what we would call the press. Ladies and gentlemen, for you youngsters who don't know, this man has been bringing you the news and the media about bodybuilding before most of you were born. Back in the Arnold days, he reported on this gentleman's father. He was actually there the day Sergio was first presented onto the Olympia stage as a baby. Legendary Peter McGough. Peter?
Well, thanks for inviting me here. I really appreciate it, and it was a fantastic show. The Men's Open, I have to say, in depth, it was one of the best shows we've seen in recent years. Everybody brought it. There was nobody there that was, well, what's he doing there? Or
Right.
There was no big guts flying around. It was really great to see.
Now, Sergio, you and I talked a little bit. We're backstage, ended up second. And you didn't realize, you thought it was winning in. And Alexi looked sharp. He did. And it couldn't have been more than 1 or 2 point difference. You weren't happy with the second place finish in Chicago. You decided to come out here to Tampa to be on your own, get your mind clear. You brought a much better package. Ended up second here to a guy, again, who was crisp, sharp. You gave him everything he could handle, ended up second. But, brother, you're still going to the Olympia.
I know. So it does, even you just saying it doesn't even really kick in. It's even trippier sitting next to Peter talking about the Olympia, and like I said before, man, you can like me or not. I mean, no matter what, we're writing history. No matter what, my mom's going to be the first woman to have a son and a husband in a Mr. Olympia. And now, exactly, you're going to be able to sit there and watch a second generation of this sport living on. And if people want to bash bodybuilding or not, it doesn't matter. Every time that I get up and do a show and I get better, or every time I qualify for Olympia, I'm contradicting every negative thing that they've ever said about this sport. So it is living on, and it is healthy, and it will be here forever.
You know, that's really the reason we had to sit down and do this. The fact that you do know the history of the sport, you are going to the Olympia, and the reality that Peter McGough was there watching your father, reporting on your father, and now getting to see you live on stage had to be something special. Peter, what was it like back then seeing Sergio Sr. and then now being able to see Sergio Jr.?
For you. It's literally the most ridiculous description ever of anyone walking out on stage. And exactly, no one knows what Peter said about the one time my dad has walked out. But I'll answer for you. It's someone walking out, and makes him just jaw drop, and you're so taken back that you don't even believe this person is human. So I just want to clarify. I'm not going to be able to do that when I come out. So don't get your hopes up. I'm not going to be able to walk out like that. But exactly, I think it's even just anyone who ever talks about anyone, and except for like those black and white pictures of Dorian, his description of seeing my dad come out, for the first time, it really is. You're taken back from it. So that's not. I just want you to not get your hopes up. Okay, that's not. I'm not going to be coming out looking like that, but I think it will be kind of surreal. And I wish it was at Mandalay Bay and it was in New York, but a little bit different this time.
But Peter, you're here watching history. Take us through this.
Well, I mean, Junior's right. The first time I saw Sergio, his father, was the 1971 Mr. Universe. Now, in those days, we didn't have Instagram videos or anything. We just saw the photos in the magazines. And, of course, he looked stunning. The shots of him with the billiard cue and all the rest of it. And, you get a bit blasé, but I went to the universe. The first time I'd seen him, he walked out, and I went back in my seat. I'd never seen anything like it. And I've probably only experienced that feeling 3 times in 40-odd years, And 84, when you were passed up, that was a very emotional thing. That was your whole life seems to have been some sort of screenplay, because there was your dad coming back after 12 years out of the IFBB. People wondered whether he could do it. He got eighth. The crowd weren't happy with it. And then Rick Wayne passed you up. You must remember it.
All right,
And
it was yesterday.
It was a very emotional moment. And he said, and here's the next myth. And lo and behold, here's the next myth.
That here he is.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not living up to anybody else. You're marking your own footsteps. We can hear the crowd out there. We can hear the crowd out there. Sergio, you are the most entertaining bodybuilder in the IFBB today, hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down.
So let me take over. Yeah, Sergio's a breath of fresh air since he came on the scene. He puts everything into it, the emotions there, you can see it, the excitement, the dynamism in the way he poses, the way he acts, the way he talks. He doesn't play the game like some guys do. He speaks his mind. He's very articulate, very bright, and he's doing his own thing. Like his dad, just, I'm an individual and I'm not going to sell out to anybody. I'm going to be my guy, and if you don't like it, you don't like it, but a lot of people do like it.
To a T.
Yeah.
Sergio.
Dead on, right?
For those of you, most of you, nobody would really know. Maximum Muscle Report was thought of years ago and was shoved into a drawer because there was a lot of other things going on. And a couple years ago, I took a trip to Tampa to come to this very show. And I met Peter McGough. And that changed things for me. A year later, I took a second trip down here, and my significant other and myself got to spend a weekend with Peter and his lovely wife, Ann. And at the end of that weekend, somehow, some way, Peter had convinced me to start this website, to start doing show coverage, that I needed to be the guy here covering the shows. And Peter, I can't thank you enough, because I get to be here watching moments like this. Sergio, again, not only are you entertaining, you're a friend of mine. We have a lot of history, so I don't get to miss these moments, man. And I can't wait for 6 weeks from now to see you at the Olympia, brother. You're going to the O.
It's not sweat now.
Yeah, and it doesn't even sink in saying that. That's so crazy. Ugh. I know I got a standing ovation the first time I did Olympia. That's going to be a tough thing to follow up on. But yeah, everyone always gives the advice for the first Olympia. That's your first one. No matter what, it's gonna be the best you've ever placed. There's really no pressure, and I'm actually really excited to do that. I'll tell you this: as crazy as it sounds, there will be 100 times less pressure getting ready for the Olympia than I had getting ready for Chicago. And I realized getting ready for shows, I prep different. I'm weird. I'm different. Most guys like to be the biggest guy in the gym. They like the attention. They like people to tell them, you're going to win, you're the best. And when they do that with me, like Chicago, all that publicity, all that going into that, I realize I don't like it. I don't. I actually really feed off of people telling me I'm not going to do something. And it is very unhealthy, and it's very probably not the best way to do it, but it works for me. And look, after Chicago, I was able to kind of get back into the mindset that I was when I was an amateur, and nobody cared about me. And then look, this is what I was able to bring in just, like I told you in our last interview, less than 3 weeks, because it was 3 weeks from Chicago to here. But a week and a half of it I spent probably being the most opposite of a bodybuilder, eating so bad. So I really had a week and a half to get ready for this show, and people will see. That's the only thing good about social media now, is that sometimes, everyone has an angle from here and there and stuff like that, but pictures will speak for itself. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to say you improve. People will see it, and that was the win. No matter what, was to come in here and look better. But what I could do in 6 weeks. 6 weeks and the right mental space, I don't know. We'll see.
We will see. Peter, to close, what advice do you have for Sergio going into this first Olympia here in 6 weeks?
And not the wrong advices either.
First of all, we talked about your life being a screenplay. As a journalist, this is a dream story. The son of Mr. Olympia is now in the Olympia. What a story! And because of your personality, you're going to be a fan favorite. You are going to get a standing ovation. Get ready for. My advice to you would be, like I've said to a lot of guys in the first Olympia. Obviously, nobody goes in there to put the foot in the water and say, "We'll see how it is." They go in there with everything, do the best. But try and enjoy it. Take your time. Don't let it rush by. Digest the memory, because it'll be there forever. It's your first Olympia. You'll do many more. But the first time, in a lot of things, is always the most memorable. But don't let it run away from you. Take your time. Feed it all in, and you'll enjoy it. And in some ways, 6 weeks is maybe a bit easier than, well, it's 4 months. So do I go back, come back up? I've got 4 months to think about that. You've got 6 weeks. You've got to do it in 6 weeks. End of story. It's great that you're in the Olympia. Enjoy it.
Words from the greatest journalist in the history of our sport, the man who sets the standard for all of us to try and live up to. None of us ever will. Peter, thank you so much. Sergio.
Thanks, guys.
6 weeks. Guys, doesn't get any better than this. Sergio Oliva Jr. Peter McGough, Mandus Buckle, Maxim Muscle Report, closing out the 2018 Tampa Pro. Biggest show in the history of the sport. We will see you guys again in 6 weeks at the Olympia. It's a wrap.